gosh, holy crap.
Our timing's a little off. The wind's more than it was supposed to be.
Yeah!
2 failures in a row. Bam, bam, bam.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
Don't forget to enter our Cabrina Kite giveaway. Win a brand new Switchblade kite and bar by subscribing to both Cabrina Kite's YouTube channel and Sailing Zatara. And leave a comment in this video saying Cabrina giveaway and what size kite you need. We'll draw one lucky winner next week, so stay tuned and good luck. Yeah, 8 hours till we get there.
I think it's going to be interesting going in this pass.
Why?
Because we got this swell, and we're going to have current coming out because it's going to be, we're at the wrong time. We don't have really much choice for the time frame we have to get moving. We're going to be going into a pass on the Exuma side, and we're going to have the outflowing current, waves coming in, and so it could be a little bumpy,
Yeah.
a little rough.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll hit it pretty close to slack tide. We're headed up to Staniel Key.
That you're changing your mind on that now?
I don't know. I just am stressed about getting across this cut right here.
Yeah.
It's the wind and the waves is blowing right on it. Tide will be going out, so we'll have tide against wind. You never do tide against wind. Unless you know what you're doing, and even when you know what you're doing, it's dangerous.
Switching sides.
If I go to Georgetown, I just make a left turn and go right down here. 30 miles, we'll be there in a few hours.
Can we skip Staniel Key altogether?
No?
We just go up there.
Just extends more time to get up through here. I mean,
Yeah.
if we can't get in here, then we're going to be turning and going up this dill really slow all night long, just beating all night long. It's just not going to be fun. And we'll be waiting for the weather to die as we...
Do we have to go to Staniel Key?
With any of these passes.
Oh, anywhere north.
Any of these passes will be hard to get into.
We started out this morning down here at Conception Island and plan to sail up to the widest cut in the reef, enter the reef, and make our way to the Exumas. There are many entrances into the reef, however, some are more narrow than others. And as I zoom in, you can see here, there are plenty of cuts to enter, this one and that one, and these nice wide ones here. The rest of the reef north is way too shallow for our boat. Normally making it through the cut isn't a problem, except the outgoing tide rushing through the channel, hitting the rough sea state, could cause us to lose control and end up on one side or the other. You're studying paper charts?
Charts I kept for a long time.
Things I probably told you to throw out and you never did?
Never did.
What are you concerned about?
Just a swell. So we're going to have flooding tide, which is flooding into this. It floods west. And I was just looking at these cuts. And, it says lumber cut will be rough when ebb. The current exposes east wind. Expect strong current extending well offshore. Breaking waves as swell increases. We've got a pretty good swell today, but we'll be going in on a flooding current, a flooding tide. So everything will be behind us, pushing us in there. Trying to decide whether I want to go there.
Is that not what your chart said on your Navionics? Didn't it say the same thing?
No, it didn't say the exact same thing, but it warned you.
Yeah, same kind of warning.
Yeah. Kind of warning.
All I gotta do in this game is just swing my big sword around.
What'd you make, Finn? Turkey bacon?
Yeah, some bacon.
Egg sandwiches?
So we are going to, our timing's a little off. The wind's more than it was supposed to be. We are going to hit the Exuma cuts, all the Exuma cuts on the Atlantic wall here. We're going to hit them at the wrong time, which is mid-tide. The good thing about it is it's a flooding tide. The waves are with us, the wind is with us, and the tide would be with us, but going through some of those, we might be going, 8, 9, 10 knots. And I haven't experienced that in a long time. I haven't been through those kind of cuts in a long time, so I don't want to do that. And I'm far enough out away from them right now. I'm about 15, 20 miles away from the Exumas right now that I can turn and go north farther. And we'll just make an overnight of it. We're going to go 3 knots here, 3.5 knots, and wait till a slack tide at 8 o'clock in the morning farther north at wide opening cut here. And that's what it's called, wide opening.
That's what it's literally called.
And we'll take that cut in and play it safe.
Okay, that's a plan.
Play it safe.
Yep.
Okay, we're going a whopping 2 knots speed over ground because we have no sails out. And we are buying time, going as slow as possible so that we can make it through the cut at 8 o'clock in the morning. But it's only 37 miles away. So, in hindsight, we should have stayed at Conception Island and left this afternoon and sailed overnight to be there in the morning when the tide is perfect, but we didn't do that. Well, we have kind of a half of a sail out. Oh, we can't really see it because of this stupid shade. Oh my gosh, holy crap. Oh, Jack.
My switch fell.
Yeah, and we got water coming in.
It should be okay.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
This is not a good thing happening here. Alright.
I think it's okay. I don't hear any damaged pieces. This is Steam Deck, not a switch.
Still, whatever. We want cameras to be nice and secure down low.
Wow, that was
Yeah, it was not good. Make sure your computers are safe, your cameras are secure, so don't slide off the table. Yep, we get to do this all night long.
I woke up from my nap and I was like, we only have 2 hours left. And then Finn says, you have a night shift.
Yeah, things have changed a bit. We're basically just bobbing in the water. We're not really moving forward much.
Luke, we should sleep in a hammock.
Oh my gosh. It'll fling you out.
Yeah, but it's colder. It got a little colder.
Why are you down there? What is happening? Are you going to the bathroom? That is strictly forbidden.
You know,
And what is going on down there?
we're feeling the water temperature.
Captain Jack, you're not setting a good example.
I was just getting some film.
Well, the good thing is we just turn the engine on, and actually you could just swim back to the boat probably.
Norwegian guys, remember that I met in...
Yes, they helped Aquarius out.
Yeah, did they?
They did.
Really? One of them fell overboard yesterday.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
he got back. They got him, but he fell overboard.
Like at night or
I think during the day.
how?
I didn't ask details, but my TS was just like, yeah, Asbjorn fell over yesterday, and we got him quick. But they were going like 6-7 knots.
Oh my gosh.
Is that the tall guy?
I'd like
Yeah,
to know
that's
how
how
that
they fell
happened.
I can ask.
Did he have a life jacket on or anything?
I don't know.
Probably not. I mean, we never wear life jackets. Because we're invincible. Jeez. So for the next 8 hours, we went about 1 to 2 knots, bobbed around on the water, waiting for time to pass and for the tide to change.
So we shut down last night just to 1 knot and just drifted and wasted about 6 hours just kind of out there in the ocean because I didn't want to arrive here until slack tide. Of course, the ocean calmed down last night, which is good. And now we're going into this cut. It's flat water. We've got a flooding tide, which means it's flowing into the banks, which in the Bahamas, the tides flood west and they ebb east onto the banks and off the banks. And so we're right at the top, the last hour of the flooding tide, which is that you want to be in the first 2 hours of a tide, either the ebb or the flood of the tide, to come into these places. And so we've got a nice deal. There's no breakers. There'll be some current up here, a little current. The current's starting to slow down because in another 2 hours it's going to be ebbing back out to the east. And we'll be on the banks here, behind the Exuma banks, and headed over to Nassau and then up to Chub Key. And so, you know, I didn't push a bad position yesterday in trying to get into somewhere that could have been dangerous for the boat. And I don't like that situation, but either way, I made the right call, and safety, my boat safety is number one. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten hurt, but the boat could have sure got hurt if it would have shoved us. The wind was a little more than I expected yesterday and forecasted, so it was all good.
This is the depth. That's in meters, so multiply that times 3 and you'll get feet. So right now we're in about 24, 25 feet of water. And as we continue into this cut, it's just going to get more shallow. In the shallows. So I've had a few comments asking about the chart plotter and what all the readouts mean. So SOG is speed over ground. This is how fast we're going. 1 knot equals 1 nautical mile per hour, which is equivalent to 1.15 miles per hour. However, nautical miles are based on Earth's latitude lines. So 1 nautical mile is equal to 1/60th of a degree of latitude. So 60 nautical miles are equal to 1 degree of latitude. So for instance, the 30 degrees you see here between 30 south and 60 south is equivalent to 30 degrees multiplied by 60 nautical miles, which is about 1,800 nautical miles between these two lines of latitude. Course over ground. This is the direction we're heading. On a compass, direct north sits at 0 degrees. At this point, we have a heading of 254, which means we're going west-southwest. Next, we have waypoint bearing, which goes along with our time to destination and distance to destination, which Keith doesn't have a destination plotted in right now. We're just going through the path, so we can't see this info at this time. TWS and AWS is wind, true wind speed and apparent wind speed. The true wind speed is what the wind actually is. So outside right now, the wind is 17.5 knots. Apparent wind speed, however, is the wind created by the movement of the boat through the air. Much like if you're on a drive in a car on a calm day, but you put your hand out the window going 55 miles per hour. The wind is exceptionally stronger on your hand, given the movement of the car through the air. Our apparent wind speed is actually less. It's 13 knots, which means the wind is coming from behind us, and we are moving forward with the wind at about 4 knots. On the big screen, we have the depth. We are at 5.4 meters. The water temp is 27.6 degrees Celsius. This section is the sonar. We can see schools of fish or large bommies to avoid. And this section is the chart, which shows us other boats, marked obstacles, water depths, etc. There you go. Hope you got all that. There'll be a quiz at the end. Not really. So we've made a decision. We are going to make a beeline for Miami. We are just now pulling into the Exumas. Made it through the cut, no problem. But we have a weather window for the next 2 days to get all the way to Miami. Otherwise, we're stuck here for a week, and we won't be able to go to Miami till next weekend, which kind of messes up our schedule because we really need to be in Miami by February 1st. We got a lot going on. So we are just going to go as far as we can over the next 48 hours. Might mean some more overnights, but that's just the way it is in boat life. So schedules and weather windows dictate what we do and when we do it, how we do it. So
I do cell work. I'm not lazy.
he said do.
I do.
So how do you feel about skipping the Nassau and Exumas and all this neat stuff?
Not too bummed about it. I mean,
Nah?
yeah.
It's been a good sailing season. We've seen and done a lot. So we motored all night in the super shallow water on the Bahama Bank. Look how beautiful. Beautiful shallow water, crystal clear, white sand.
So this is our first time to cross the Bahama Bank at night.
Eee.
A little bit hairy. You know, I've crossed it like 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times, and I've never put a path down. I never kept my path, my track. And so I just went off the magenta line across there, and I had a track on Navionics that I'd used before. And I tell you, I was a little nervous last night, you know, especially when you're in 2 meters of water, 2.5 meters of water.
Oh my gosh.
But it worked out good. It worked out good. And so now I've got a track. I'm confident I can cross the Bahama Bank anytime, at night, day, doesn't matter. And I'm not going to hit no bommies. I got a good track across there. So
That's cool.
it was super easy. We had the asymmetrical out all night long, just cruising across.
All sorts of things are happening this morning. That screen just died. Then everything restarted.
No, I restarted it.
Oh, you did? But the screen just didn't come back on.
Yeah, it just went out.
Autopilot works though. And the alternator he put on one of the engines died as well. So we are having to use a generator again to charge the batteries.
The new Balmar alternators I put in, the one just quit working. I don't know what's going on. It just won't send out a charge or anything. It's either the regulator went bad and it's brand new. I mean, they've probably got 50, 60, 70 hours on that one. So I got to figure that out. Now we got to navigate up here with the phone.
How far are we from Miami? Like
50 miles.
50 miles.
50 miles.
8 to 10 hours. We're so close, yet so far away. So it started working all of a sudden. Nice, 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 nice. So that was a cut. We are exiting the Bahamas now. A wide, nice open cut. And we are flying at 9 knots, baby. In 3 hours, we will be back in the United States of America. First time in 3 years since we have touched American dirt. And the first time in 7 years since the Tara has been in, no, it'd be 6 years because we bought it in Greece and sailed it to Florida, so it was there. So, I don't know, a long time since our boat has seen U.S. waters, so it's kind of exciting. So the wind had been shifting over the previous hour. Keith was napping and the kids were on watch. The sail began to luff a lot because it was at a completely wrong angle at this point. And as soon as we heard the first luff, Jack yelled at Finn, who was already in the cockpit, to release the line. And then Jack headed toward the helm to turn the boat downwind to release the load off that sail. Meanwhile, Keith heard the commotion and immediately jumped up to the helm and into the captain's chair to turn the boat downwind. We were going so slow that it took almost 2 minutes to get both engines fired up and turned downwind. And in that time, the sail finally had enough and snapped.
Golly! Ah! No, man!
Keith finally got the boat turned downwind to release the load off that sail so the kids could go pull it down.
Bro, you ain't gonna be able to pull that in.
Bring it down! Bring it down! Bring it down! Pull it down.
the first time we got blown out of sail. Wind.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
I don't even know.
To turn down wind as soon as you got on the helm.
I was running to the helm. As soon as I heard that, I said, Finn, let it go, and I was coming, and then you came up. I should have been quicker on it. I should have been way quicker on it.
Jeez. We've only got, what, 12 miles to go? Sheesh. So close.
Yeah, so far.
Oh, what else could go wrong? I'm not even going to say that.
When I woke up at like 12 o'clock. I came up here, I looked around, I looked at the wind, and I'd been looking at the wind for the past few hours up until the event. And it had been going slowly. I should have caught on, and I should have, you know, come to the conclusion that, okay, the wind is shifting, I ought to take the sail down. So the wind eventually turned too much, the sail started flapping, I was up here, Finn came up, he was on deck actually, and I came up, I looked at it, I was like, Finn, let out the line, let the line out. I came running into the cockpit. By this time, Dad had already come up.
You were going to turn us
downwind.
downwind.
I was about to turn us downwind. We took like 2 minutes in total until the boat actually started going downwind. And it was within that 2 minutes of the sail flogging, it tore.
Yeah.
So it all could have been avoided. Absolutely could have been avoided if I was just more keen.
More proactive.
Yeah, on what was going on. And that it's my fault. The captain was sleeping.
Yeah.
And if the captain is sleeping, who's in charge then?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that anybody was really paying close enough attention. That was our biggest problem too. Yeah, so if Jack had turned us downwind right when he heard the first luff of that sail, all of that could have been prevented. But he didn't. Lesson learned, and it's kind of an expensive lesson, but nobody was hurt. And so we didn't get the lines caught or the sail caught under the boat, which I'm very grateful for. And it's crazy because we're only about, how far are we away?
6 miles, 7 miles.
At that time, we're only, I don't know, 8-10 miles away from land. So close to our destination, so close to home. I can smell it. So hopefully nothing else will go wrong between here and there. You gotta untangle this whole thing?
What happened, and Jack understands this as well as the other kids, there was about an hour there as the wind was shifting around that they should have picked up on that and realized, hey, that wind's coming on the beam now, it's not behind us anymore. We need to take that sail down, or we need to change our tack or jibe. And that didn't happen. They missed it. They totally missed it, and it cost us a sail. It cost us, $8,000 sail. Now, the good part about that is being a parent and growing up with my kids is, even though it cost me money, it's their time to learn. I mean, they had to realize by not being on top of it, not having situational awareness and relying on somebody else, that something bad just happened. And this was just an expensive mistake that got made. 2 mistakes. One, they should have taken the sail down when it got over 17 knots and is on the beam. That sail shouldn't have been up there. 2, and they knew that. Number 2, when that sail did luff the first time, they should have just came to the helm, hit the autopilot 30-40 degrees over, and the sail would have filled back in. We'd have been going downwind, and then we'd have taken the sail down and got back on course. 2 failures in a row. Bam, bam, bam. The key goes in the lock. All the tumblers roll over. We got a sail blown out. So it was a good learning experience at their age. They're 16, 17, 18, 21 years old. It's a good learning experience for them now, because they'll remember that. If this would have happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, their maturity level isn't as such as to realize that I need to start taking care of things.
Being proactive.
I need to be proactive about taking care of things and not rely on somebody else to do what I know needs to be done. So it's not so much they were negligent. It's as much I needed to allow that to happen. I hated it. It sucked, but it needed to happen so my kids could realize that at this point in their life, it's time for proactivity and responsibility and growing into the men and women they're going to be. So Even though it cost some money, it was a good lesson for them. And once again, it is a hard lesson to learn, but it was a lesson that needed learning. And it wasn't just a lesson about the sail or the boat. It was about a life lesson about paying attention to your surroundings and understanding what's going on, no matter what situation you're in. And I think they learned that lesson. I think it was a good lesson.
5 years ago, when Keith had a lot more hair, this same sail also had a blowout, but of no fault of ours. There were small rips in the fabric. They got bigger over time, and then the whole sail just ripped in half.
Now, that's what's happened there.
The sailmaker replaced it right away, but just an important note I want to point out, these floataway sails were not Ullman sails. They were made by a different sailmaker. What are you doing?
This sail
Yes?
is going in that locker, and then that sail is also going in that locker.
Oh. Oh, that's so sad. How sad. So sad. Oh. Maybe it can be fixed. Well, we made it to Florida. Yay! We're almost in one piece. Sail is not in one piece, but we made it. Regardless, I'm going to close this video out here because we're all completely exhausted. We need to go rest and sleep for a few days and regroup. I think me and Keith are going to head to Montana next week. The kids are going to hang out on the boat and then go to Luke's place, I think, in Orlando. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Oh! You can't put that in the video.
No.
Why are you recording? And, oh, helicopter. Hold on.